Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Express, which is becoming everyone's favorite talk show. It is profoundly real and interesting, so without any further delay, please help me welcome back to the stage the beautiful and expressive director of Express, Carolyn. Carolyn, take it away.
Once again, Express channel for the people, working for the people. I'm your host, Carolyn. For those of you who know me already, but for those who don't, my name is Carolyn, and I'm the host for this Express talk show. Today, we have as our guest Dr. Lloyd Allen. He's an author, speaker, and marriage coach. He's a founder and CEO of Fixing Marriages Academy. He trained marriage and family. He's a trained marriage family therapist and also a trained clinical mental health counselor. He's doing this for 27 years. He's counseling couples and families in and out of USA. He's the author of a book on love, sex, and relationships. He also has an ebook entitled Finding Love and Keeping It. Over 200 tips. There are over 200 tips in that book, and it's there to ignite and maintain the flame of love in your relationship. Today, he's going to tell you about where he's come from, and then we will talk about narcissistic personalities. Now, without further ado, before I go any further, though, just remember to like, share, and subscribe. Without doing that, you won't be able to follow on to the contents. And for those who have been following all along, you know whenever there is we're putting out an episode. But for those who just visited today, you need to do that so you will be in tune as to the episode as they go along. So let me just get going so I can talk to my guest, Dr. Lloyd Allen. Here he is. Hello, Dr.
Hi,
Lloyd.
Caroline.
How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And so am I. And so am I. I know you're very busy. So without going further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to talk a little bit about yourself and then or what you've accomplished, where you're coming from until we have that topic, narcissistic personality to talk about. And that is a whole lot. So we're going to get going. All right. So first of all, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Pondside, Hanover, Jamaica, West Indies.
Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful land of wood and water in the Caribbean.
Okay, great, great. And you are one of how many
Well,
children?
I'm one of 10 children.
One of 10 children. And where do you fall in that?
I'm sorry?
Are you one? Are you the first of 10?
Okay, I am about the sixth. The sixth of
Okay.
10 children, yeah.
Six of 10 children. Wow. Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas must be a beautiful time around that
Oh,
table.
yes. We meet right here at my mom's home. My mom is still alive and
Praise
well at
the
the
Lord.
age of
Amen.
84.
84. I can just imagine the children, the grandchildren, and the great grandchildren, and the nephews and the niece. Oh, it's so beautiful to have a big family, isn't it?
It's wonderful. Thank God. Thank God. And
Yes,
God has given us good health and
yes,
we
very
have our
important.
wits about us. So we're thankful.
Yes, yes, a lot to thank God for. So, okay, so you're number six. So after being in a family so big, how has that helped you in what you're doing now? or has it not?
Well, I would say it has. I had older brothers and sisters who helped to direct my life, which of course I consider that very important,
Yes.
invaluable indeed, because I have learned that children, we have a tendency to follow our own inclinations, and therefore it's always good to have the strong hands of adults to keep us in check.
Yes.
And so I'm very happy for the adults in my life, and also for my younger siblings. I take on a role of a supervisor to ensure to guide and to direct their lives.
Protect them. Yes.
So it is multifaceted.
Wow. Awesome. And I'm sure you've learned a lot. So you were able to demonstrate that even with the people you meet on a
Yes,
daily
yes. I
basis.
what I'm very happy for more than anything else too. My brother first started attending church, got baptized, and it's interesting. Um, all of us, almost all of us, as younger siblings, follow suit
Okay.
and became a member, very seriously involved in the church as well. So that
That
to
is
me
important.
is very, very significant.
Yes. So you are here where you are right now. Tell me where you're coming from professionally.
All right, my first job in insurance after school, after high school, and then coming to college. Went into insurance, life insurance, and of course, prior to that, I was a youth leader in my church from the age of 16 to the age of 20, and so I think that groomed me with to to prepare for ministry really as a public speaker,
Okay.
and that was very significant. Now, then I moved on to my first job selling insurance. So I had that affinity with people. I like dealing with people. And from there on, I went to a university in Costa Rica. I learned a bit of Spanish, una deca in
Mm.
Alajuela, Costa Rica,
Okay.
in a school. Yes, and I learned a bit of Spanish. And I went traveled through some countries in Central America as a colporteur,
Okay.
right? Nicaragua, Honduras, the Bay Islands off the coast of Honduras. And then after that, I said, well, I don't want to lose my English. I felt like my getting tired in my English, and said, let me go back to Jamaica to
Okay.
continue the program at Northern Caribbean University. From
Okay. And
Northern Caribbean University as a pastor, pastored in different places in Jamaica, 9 churches there, my first circuit, my second circuit, 9 churches, then to the Turks and Caicos. I was assistant to the president there for a while. Then I came back to Jamaica, and then I got a call to the US, right, to work with the conference, and then after a while. But I want to tell you that I started a family marriage and family therapy program at Barry University here in Florida.
uh-huh.
And then I went to New York, and I was told that I had to come back on campus if I were not to lose a significant number of my credits.
Oh.
So I came back, and then I, finished the program, marriage and family therapy, clinical mental health counseling as well. And so I decided that I would go full-fledged into family ministry.
Okay, great.
As a matter of fact, I want to tell you this, that one of the things that inspired me for family ministry.
Yes, I was about to ask you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I observed that while I was in active gospel ministry in Jamaica and elsewhere, about 95% of the issues that I've had to address in ministry were family related.
Wow.
And so I started reading books on family life, or developed an insatiable appetite for family life books, going into a bookstore, it's coming out with 5 books, 3 or 4 on family life
Wow.
matters. And so I started conducting family seminars in my churches every Wednesday night, every Wednesday evening, a family seminar. Sometimes
Yes.
2 churches together in one church. And
Yes.
in fourth instant, we have 3 churches in a schoolroom. And that was what we had every Wednesday evening. And then it was not long after before I became convinced that
Oh,
this would
you-
have to be my life work.
so that was the embryonic stage, and you gave birth.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing when you find your purpose. Nobody has to tell you. You just know it.
That's it. That's
You
it.
know, you eat it, you sleep it, and you just feel free talking about it. And when people ask you question, you just it's just amazing when one finds their passion.
That's it. This
How
is my
it makes
life work.
you feel, you know? It
Yes.
really does. And I'm glad that you know, ended up listening to that voice and
Yes. That's my
pursuing.
life work. So much so right now that I have a domain name called MrMarriage.com. That's my website name.
Okay.
That's a kind of a branding, just to
Yes,
let you
and
know. Just
give us
to
more
show.
information because we'll make we your audience wants to get that information. So
Yes.
go ahead. Tell us the number they can call you if they need to
Okay.
contact you.
Once you go to MrMarriage.com or my name, LloydAllen.org, they take you to the same website. Then
Okay.
you'll get to my website and you can understand all that I do. I have courses online. I also work with people one-on-one on virtual sessions
Okay.
and so forth. As a matter of fact, I'm even planning to start a Thursday evening marriage program, an interactive session every Thursday evening. So that will be advertised soon.
Okay. So leave the WhatsApp number so anywhere in the world someone can contact you.
Okay, my number 631-644-3222. That is 631-644-3222.
Okay. And you can leave your email too.
Yes. As a matter of fact, when you go to my website, you'll see my email there, Lloyd. My email really is familyenrich@gmail.com.
Okay, then. Good, 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 good. All right. So anybody wants to get in touch with you can do so. Now, tell me a little bit about when did you meet your wife? Where did you meet her? And because of course you're a married counselor, so can't be single and teaching people how to enjoy their married life, right? So
Yes.
or so tell us, what's the name of your wife and where did you meet her and that sort of thing in a nutshell.
Right. Okay. Well, my wife, I call her my sweetheart.
Oh, of course.
I met her in South Korea.
Okay.
She was, traveling has been my life work as well.
Yes.
And so she was the principal assistant to the pastor of the main church in Seoul. That's St. Levin's Church in Seoul. It's a big church. And she was the assistant to the pastor there. She was also working at the Educational Institute there as well. And
Okay.
so from I saw her, I said to her, come on over on the other side and join me in another field of missionary endeavor.
Okay.
So she came along and we got married in the Philippines. By the way, she's from the Philippines. She was a
Philippines.
missionary to Korea, but she's from the
Okay.
Philippines. We traveled to the Philippines. We got married in the Philippines.
Okay.
And then I took her across the world to Jamaica and then to the US to join me here.
Okay. And then how many do you have children?
2 wonderful sons, Lloyd and Daniel.
Oh, Lloyd
Yes.
Jr.
And I
Okay.
want to tell you that together we form a unit and we are very happy.
That's
We're
good.
very happy to say the
That's
least.
that's good.
My wife and I, as a matter of fact, I like to tell people, as far as stress in marriage is concerned, I have zero.
That's awesome.
And my wife will share the same sentiments. But we have a beautiful life. And the principles I share in my program are the very principles that I
That you
implement in my
practice.
own
Okay.
marriage.
Okay, that's good. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we want to talk a little bit about narcissistic personality. I find that not a lot of people, a lot of people know about it, but still lot of people are still learning. What would you say?
Um, a lot of people do know, as you rightly said, but especially though in the church, I don't think there is a lot of awareness in our church about this mental disorder, for that's
Okay.
exactly what it is, narcissistic personality disorder. So many people know about it, but of course there's still a lack of, information,
Mhm.
as far as some people are concerned. But it's a very important topic. By the way, as a matter of fact, in my premarital education program, I passionately instruct and advise my singles that before they get married, they must do an exhaustive study of the word narcissism, because they cannot afford to make a mistake in marrying a narcissist.
Mm.
And so I'm very passionate about the subject, because if you make the mistake and marry a narcissist, your life's happiness could be compromised. As a matter of fact, your life may settle for happiness or misery. And
Wow.
so it's very important.
Is this I don't know if I'm right in what I'm gonna ask the right question. Is this learned or is this inborn? Is they born like that? Tell me more about that part.
Well, let me say that, of course, I'm a theologian as well, so I want to speak also from that perspective.
Hmm.
But we were all born messed up. As the Bible says, we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity.
Yes.
Jeremiah reminds us that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. And so we have natural propensity to sin, to evil. And that's where it originally began, okay? From our birth, the birth that was, the nature that was bequeathed to us from Adam. So that's where it all began. But I want to say that some people, as they grow, upbringing has a lot to influence a
Hmm.
person's perspective on life and also their behavior. So many people have developed this style of behavior based on their upbringing. Some have been through trauma, some have been through neglect, some have been through all kinds of verbal and emotional and mental abuse. And because of that, some have naturally developed this trait by virtue of what they have seen in others. So
Okay.
sometimes it's a matter of replicating what they've learned.
Okay, I see. I see. Well, so you're saying now, so you mean the parents, mother or father could be, or both could be, has have this personality or this mental problem?
Well,
Mental
okay, let me say
learning
in a
problem.
general term, let's call it maybe caregivers, because sometimes people may not really, be grown with their mom or
Yeah,
dad,
right, right,
but
right.
especially their caregivers, some people have grown with narcissistic caregivers, who have abused them, who have always blamed them for their own deficiencies. And when things don't go wrong, they affix blame on them. And so, because of this, some children have grown up to just replicate that behavior and
Hmm.
always want to play the blame game. And when something is wrong with themselves, when they are blaming others.
Okay.
Also, they are quick to, they can be very arrogant, and they don't trust people. And because of that, it's either their way or the highway. For that's one of the traits of a narcissist, and arrogance. They're very
Hmm.
arrogant, and they do not submit easily to other people's opinions or perspectives. And so it's a matter of replicating that behavior.
So then you would say, all right. So what about relationships with this relationships generally, whether it's at school or church or play or in their own marriages, or
Okay.
we'll
You
have to
mean
break
how
that.
they exhibit these characteristics
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in relationships? All right, I tell you what, I want to share with you, there are 8 traits that are significant to a narcissist, and sometimes, and people can sometimes evaluate or assess how much they exhibit this style of behavior just by looking at these 8 traits. So if you have some time, can I just quickly run through
Sure,
these?
sure. Go ahead.
Right.
And I'm writing too.
Right.
I hope my
Number
audience
1,
take the
they
time.
have a superiority tendency, where they believe that they must always be in the limelight. They must always have the floor, so to speak.
Okay.
They must always be leading.
Okay.
You must always be heaping upon them all the accolades. And when they do not get it, when they are not the center of affirmation and validation, then they get very annoyed and even abusive. So there is that sense of superiority that is damaging in relationships as well,
Okay.
because it's very difficult to even exist in their presence, for you don't really have an opinion in their presence, for they must always be in charge.
Okay.
Okay, and that's dangerous. Number 2, there's a spirit of entitlement.
Entitlement.
They believe they have a right to all the advantages that are available. For example, even in their home, they have a right to your validation. It's really, you see, narcissism is really a search for validation. They always want to be validated. They always want to be affirmed, and they feel that they are entitled to it. And the day they do not get it, they rant and rave. Okay? And so let me say, in a very, speak from a clinical perspective, that narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health issue, really. Okay, and for you to know whether you have that disorder, you have to be diagnosed, okay, by a specialist, and especially meeting the criteria of the diagnostic manual, DSM, right? Diagnostic and statistical manual, put out by the mental health department. And so you have to be diagnosed. But there are some people now, they may not yet be diagnosed, but they are demonstrating the narcissistic style of behavior. And that is dangerous. So let me share number 3. Number 3 is the need for attention.
Need for attention. Okay.
Need for attention. For example, they may go to a birthday party, and if they get an opportunity, they may even want to steal the show. For the attention must be diverted to themselves at all times. But they
Even
must
though the party was not theirs.
Right. There is that hunger, that search, that yearning for attention. And this is why one of the ways even to spot a narcissist, even like for those who are dating, of course, it may, this does not necessarily mean that they have that disorder, but one of the ways that they exhibit disorder, for example, if they're always charismatic and they are not empathetic, and they always want to steal your affection, so to speak, by the things they do. And we're going to talk about that in a little while. We'll talk about love love for bombing, right? And we're
Mm.
going to talk a little about that. But that's so the need for affection is another aspect. Also, number 4, the need for control.
No, you said number 3 was need for attention or
Need for attention. And number 4 is the need for control.
need for control. Okay.
Yes, the need for control. And who hates that, especially women, to feel as though they have a person in their life who seeks always to control them. Where are you now? Take a picture of where you are for me and just send it to me so I can know where you are. Sometimes it may appear as though they are just caring, and of course, sometimes it may be, but when that is persistent to the point where it is irritating, it's inconvenient, it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you know that that is control. Okay. And so they always want to feel in control. When they feel like you are escaping their grasp, then they can become very abusive. They must always have a tap on your finances, have a tap on your whereabout. They must know where you are every step of the way. Okay. And if you're having a conversation with somebody else for too long, sometimes you are timed, then that could be dangerous as well. So the need for control, right? That's dangerous. And of course, you see now that is exhibited by what you call gaslighting. All right.
Talk a little bit about gaslighting, because I hear that word all the time.
All right. Now, gaslighting can be demonstrated in 2 ways. Number 1, it is a denial of reality followed by mental and emotional abuse. For example, you say to a narcissist, say you live with them, say it's your spouse, you say to them, where's my car key? I know I placed it right here. I placed my car key right there. Where is it? It was right there. It was hung right there. I know it's not there. What happened?
I'm not sure.
They may say, well, I don't know. Well, in fact, they might have taken it.
Wow.
Because they may want to control your whereabouts or whatever. But they have taken it. But then they say, I don't know. And then you insist, are you sure you don't know? Because I know the last time I put it right there. That's the last thing I can remember. I took it from my bag and I put it right up here.
Wow.
It was hanging on the wall. And then now, notice they deny reality. They tell the lies, and then they say, but what's happened to your head? Something wrong with you. Maybe moth is eating out your brain. You don't know better than that? You have to maybe go and see a psychiatrist.
Wow.
And then the abuse, the mental and emotional abuse starts. And so that's what you call, gaslighting, really. Okay. First of all, they may lie, they deny reality of what they do, and then they move on to abuse you, as a way of copping out of an issue or trying to escape, being the object of your true investigation or interrogation. Are you with me?
Wow, that is really. Okay.
Right. So that is another dangerous aspect there. Also, now we talk about number 5.
Yes.
There is a complete lack of boundaries. Complete lack of boundaries. In other words, they do not respect you as an individual. They do not believe that you must have your independent thought. They sometimes even want to think for you and to advise you on what you should do. thus robbing you of the opportunity to be yourself.
I see.
And that can be very uncomfortable in a relationship where you don't believe that you can be yourself. You can exert your own influence, your own independence, and make decisions on your own. It's as though you must always reflect their ideas rather than engage an independent thought yourself. And so there's a complete lack of boundaries, always overstepping their bounds as it relates to respect for you and your boundaries. Okay. Then also number 6, they never take responsibility. They're always blaming somebody else. Exactly. They are not capable of apologizing. And that's a serious thing. When you have somebody in your life who cannot apologize. And let's face it, nobody is perfect. As a matter of fact, I like to say this, that a marriage is the union of two imperfect persons. And people always make mistakes. As a matter of fact, in marriage, you're always forgiving, okay? Because you're always repairing the relationship. Because the lapse in judgment, the inconsistencies. So people are always making mistakes. And when you act as though you never made a mistake and you're always right and you don't know how to apologize and, oh, you are the one who is wrong. And if you didn't do that, I wouldn't do this. You get the point? Then you know that you are in for a very toxic relationship. Because there's no humility and they don't know how to apologize. So they don't know how to take responsibility. Okay? And that's another thing there. So that was number 6. Number 7 is a lack of empathy. And this is serious here. A lack of empathy. Do you know what that means? Oh, friends, they will hurt you without any sensitivity. They will hurt you so badly. And it's as though they have done nothing. They hurt you with impunity. They cannot feel what you are feeling. They have no respect for your feelings. And that can be very painful in a relationship. And so you can understand. Because one of the things I always say in relationship, you must always exert sensitivity to the feelings of your spouse, or your parents, or your children, or your brother, even in the workplace. You always have to be mindful of the needs and feelings of others. And when you are able not to hurt others and have no qualms about it, then you know you are traversing a dangerous ground. And so that's another thing there, lack of empathy. Okay? They don't know how to feel for someone else. And that's what empathy is, being able to feel for someone else. And it's hard to live with somebody who hurts you day in, day out, and they will never apologize. And it doesn't matter what you are going through, you are always wrong. After a while, you lose your individuality and you start acting weird. How you feel? Some folk act weird sometimes. After a while, you live long enough with a narcissist. After a while, you fail to even engage your own thoughts, independent thoughts, and you start to live just to please somebody else, and you lose your own individuality. And that can be very serious. Finally, number 8, we have what we call splitting. Splitting. You are either all good or all bad. If you make, for example, if you make them feel, if you bring them to a place where they must take responsibility, if you call them out on an issue that they are guilty of and they feel hurt by it, then they may start to blame you, and then you become the bad person. You become the bad person, and you are so bad that there's nothing good about you. So it's either black or white. Okay, this is called splitting. There's nothing good that you have ever done. There's nothing good about your character. You are all bad. And that's a picture that you are always painted with. As a matter of fact, too, they'll even go and, and get company. Okay, they get company to join them in abusing you. They will disgrace your name. They disgrace your name. They create a scandal about you just by virtue of you disagreeing with them. One of the ways I always encourage people, one of the important conflict resolution skills, you must be able to disagree without being disagreeable. That means you know how to heal the relationship amid the differences. But for a narcissist, it's not so. If you disagree with them, then you represent the adversary, and you may be their enemy for a very long time. Right?
So,
Anyhow,
okay, the time. Wow. One more question before you go.
yes.
So I can't understand if one meets someone, wouldn't they display this while courting?
Well, I tell you what, there's what is called love bombing. The narcissists do have a remarkable ability to shower upon the person with whom they're interacting, to shower upon them all the accolades of love, all the expression of appreciation, and so they're able to win your heart, and you may not even be able to identify the narcissistic traits in them, because they give you so much attention. They love you beyond measure, beyond what is normal. Love bombing. Okay. And so you may be in a relationship for weeks and months and not being able to detect that until after a while their true nature start being revealed.
There's so many other questions I would like.
Anyhow, yes,
but I know you have your appointment. You're a busy man. But I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and sharing such knowledge and sharing to us where you're coming from. And I hope that someone watching may see, who is contemplating doing what you're doing, that they will go ahead and do it. Thank you so much. And say hello to your wife and the rest of the family until we possibly have you on here again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited, and I look forward to maybe another episode.
Yes. Okay then. Thank you. Bye-bye now. Good. All right. So as I normally do at the end of each episode, I usually leave a thought. And my two choices are, it says, this is by S. Hale. And she said, Mama used to say, you have to know someone 1,000 days before you can glimpse her soul. Okay. And then there's another thought, and it says by Abraham Lincoln. And he says, I don't like that man. Well, I must get to know him better. It was nice being here. Nice having our guests today. And before I leave, though, I just want to remind you just to like, share, and also subscribe so that you will be inundated with our contents each time we put them out. So I'm going to say bye now until tomorrow.